here. Welcome to the Rebel Report podcast. My name is Michael Borkey. Really appreciate you being here. Ole Miss gets a dominating 45-10 win over Tulane, and that's exactly what it was. In every phase of the game, Ole Miss absolutely dominated Tulane from start to finish, really. And that is impressive in and of itself. We'll get to all that coming up. We'll go through the box score. We'll go to your comments. We'll talk about everything that happened in this game and more. Remember, anything else that happens this weekend, we'll do all that tomorrow night. Strictly focusing on Ole Miss's win over Tulane tonight. We'll do all the other stuff on tomorrow night's stream. But glad you guys are here. Don't forget to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube over on SuperTalk or right here. Leave a comment, hit the notification bell, subscribe, all that good stuff. And wherever you get your podcast, just search Rebel Report and subscribe and leave a rating and a review. And this edition is brought to you in part by Toyota of Brookhaven. Check them out online at toyotaofbrookhaven.com. You don't have to live in the area to have a great car buying experience. That online inventory will really help you out. They are off exit 40 in Brookhaven, but more importantly, they'll give you $1,000 off on me if you're buying a new Toyota from Toyota Brookhaven. Just tell them that I sent you, and $1,000 gets knocked off the price if you simply just tell them that I sent you. Have one of the highest rated service departments in the state, and they will take care of you like a person, because that's what they do at Toyota of Brookhaven. So let's start, before we get through the box score, with just an overarching thought about the performance itself, because I think the way they played is noteworthy more than just the way they played in this specific game. Number one, I got a DM from somebody that was like, I thought you said Tulane was good. They don't look good to me, is what he said. And that is one of the more bizarre fan things that happens that I just can't really wrap my mind around, to be honest with you. It's like the overrated chant. I say this all the time. When you chant overrated at the end of a game, when you beat a team that's highly ranked, what you're saying is our win isn't good. You know what I mean? That's what you're saying. You're devaluing your own accomplishments when you do that. Everything we said about Tulane before this game is true. They have a chance to make the playoff. One of the best G5 or now G6 teams in the country, elite coach, good players. That was supposed to be a good football team in Oxford today, a really good football team for their level in Oxford today. They didn't look like it because Ole Miss made it look like they weren't. Everything we said about Tulane going into this game, I think, is true. Again, well-coached, good players, one of the best G6 teams in the country, but Ole Miss, the way they played, made Tulane look like an FCS team today, and that, to me, is really significant. The game was sandwiched in between an emotional win over Arkansas and then a huge game upcoming with LSU. We'll get to spend all week on that. Really excited to do that with you guys, because this is a huge game, and this is why you get into the business that I'm in. Doing 5 radio shows this week is just going to be awesome, centered around this game. I can't wait for it. And then also Mississippi State, Tennessee. This is going to be a huge week, and I'm thoroughly, thoroughly excited for it. But so that's awesome. I'm looking forward to that. But you have big emotional game with Arkansas, and then big emotional game upcoming with LSU, featuring what could be 2 top 10 teams. And sandwiched in between those 2 games is Tulane. Although the crowd was good, and I thought that was really impressive. Shout out to you guys, the fans, for filling up, by and large. The stadium wasn't a complete sellout. The Tulane section, especially on the roadside behind the Ole Miss band, had some empty seats. But again, sandwiched in between those 2 games, Tulane just does not – it's not the draw. And it would have been a very easy weekend for you to skip, to be honest. It's expensive to go to games, all that stuff. And you guys showed up. The crowd looked good. But it was a little bit of a sleepy environment. I don't blame you for it. I understand it's Tulane. And despite all of those things, they're not football playing robots. They're human beings. To play as well as they did today without allowing the classic case of the look-aheads to creep in is an indicator of team character. Does that mean they're going to make the playoff? No. Does that mean they're going to go win a national championship or anything? Of course not. They still have a lot to clean up. But I was very, very impressed with how they played this game, considering opponent, considering spot on the schedule, all that stuff. It was an indication, anyway, of a team that is well coached and well prepared, and a team that somehow was able to not look ahead to LSU and take care of their business today. That was an impressive win for all of those reasons. Now let's get into the box score a little bit. 45-10. Again, the final score. Ole Miss was outstanding. Specifically, Trinidad was outstanding. 17 of 27, 307 yards, a pair of touchdowns, no interceptions, was sacked once. One of his 10 incompletions was a perfectly thrown football right into the hands of Trey Wallace. Should have been, so instead of 307, it really should be like 367, and he just dropped the ball. Trinidad also ran for 114 yards on 14 carries. 112 yards on 14 carries. That is an 8-yard per carry average. Kewan Lacey ran for 68 yards on 18 carries, only 3.8 per. So Ole Miss in the running game from not Trinidad, not good again this week. Logan Diggs got some snaps, so did Damian Taylor, but just 4 and 2 carries respectively. It was Lacey and it was Chambliss running the football for Ole Miss today. Deuce Alexander led the team in receiving, 94 yards and a touchdown on just 4 receptions. What is really impressive to me about Deuce Alexander is when the ball's in the air, he does a really good job of using his body to shield defenders. He doesn't reach out and cause PIs. You saw it last week and you saw it this week as well. His ability, knowing that he's got a defender on his back, both times he kind of like stopped for a second and allowed his body to shield the defender so he could extend his arms and put himself and the defender in a situation where only he could catch the football and only he could make a play on the football. He's a very savvy wide receiver, and he was good today. Daquan Wright had 71 yards on 3 catches and a touchdown. Dejon Stribling, 62 yards on 3 receptions. One of them went for 53. The ball was tipped a little bit. And you saw why I talked about him so much in the offseason on that run after the catch there as well. Caden Lee had 60 yards on just 2 receptions. And this tells you a lot about this offense and the weapons that they have. Trey Wallace, their leading receiver, had a bad drop today and only 1 catch for 4 yards. And they still had 307 yards receiving. Impressive day there. Jaden Yates led Ole Miss in tackles. Will Eccles, he had 11. Will Eccles had 8, including a half of a TFL. Cam Franklin had 6 as well. And, we can go on down the list, but those are your leading tacklers for Ole Miss today. Jake Retzloff did not complete a pass in the first half. He was 5 of 17 for 56 yards in the game. Brendan Sullivan, his backup, did complete a pass for 4 yards in the first half, was 5 of 12 for 48 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Tulane ran for 178 yards today on 4.6 per carry. Retzloff leading the way with 51. Ole Miss did a good job, by and large, on him today, although I swear Ole Miss leads the country in should have been sacks. They don't have very many as a defense. They have very many opportunities, and they cannot finish. That is a big one of the things that you don't like about today. There's a lot to like about today. One of the things you don't like about today is they're getting pressure. I think 12 quarterback hurries today, and it didn't result in a sack. They have got to finish. I swear they lead the country and should have been sacks, but did a good job by and large on Retzloff today. Arnold Barnes ran for 48 yards on 4.3 per. You had Javin Gordon with 36 yards on 8 per. So Tulane, especially in the second half, was pretty good running the football. That is still, to me, an area of concern is Ole Miss's run defense. It was better today than last week. You've got to give them credit. It was better today than last week, but I still think that Ole Miss defensively, they don't give up many explosive plays in the run game. So that's a positive. but they do get pushed back a little bit, and they are susceptible on the ground. LSU does not run the football well, or hasn't to this point, so you could have kind of like a bad on bad situation there. But that is one thing to keep an eye on and be concerned about, is the fact that even today they played well and still gave up 180 yards rushing. So good day for the defense overall, though. Only gave up 10 points. One of those touchdowns was in the second half. It was a fine day. Not super like pumped up, like, yeah, they're back. I'm not going to do that because I don't think that's accurate. They are going to face better offenses than the one that they faced today. There's more talent on the field. Sure as hell is more talent on the field next week with LSU. Different kind of challenge. Quarterback that's not mobile in the way that Retzloff is, but that they were better today, but they need to continue to improve if they're going to be formidable, because the competition level will increase compared to today, starting a week from today. So that's your box score. Again, Tulane only had 100 receiving yards in the game. Ole Miss did a really nice job there. And the pressure as well, the hurries also forced some incompletions and throws in the dirt and things like that. So the pass rush was effective at times. They need to close, though. They need to find ways to bring quarterbacks down, because you're not going to be able to win 45-10 every week. They've got to execute better. They've got to finish plays better there. But all in all, really good day for Ole Miss. Impressive win. We'll get to the quarterback. I've seen your comments already, so we'll just do that after I tell you that the podcast is brought to you in part by Advantage Business Systems, absms.com. Advantage Business Systems has you covered for all of your Mississippi office technology needs. If you're anywhere in Mississippi and you need tech in the office, absms.com. They'll give you a complimentary office technology assessment. So all you need to do is tell them what you need and what your budget is, and they will give you an assessment on me. That's Advantage Business Systems, absms.com. Also, Priority One Bank. They make you their priority every day with their online banking platform. It's a one-stop shop. All you need is an internet connection, and you can do whatever it is that you need to do with your money, because Priority One Bank makes you their priority. I'm just going to quick look at the scoreboard, to be honest with you. I'm going to try to see and find what LSU is doing. They're playing an FCS team, so there's very, very little that you should be able to take away from this game regardless. But I did see that, yeah, it's 42-0. They were struggling to run the ball still early in this game. I think after one quarter, LSU was averaging 1 yard per carry. They're still averaging under 4 yards per carry against Southeastern Louisiana. The running game is officially a problem. Now, Nussmeier's thrown for 273 and 3 touchdowns, but again, it's Southeastern Louisiana. So really not much you can take away from this game at all. Walter, you think Ole Miss is going to be a 10-point favorite? I have not seen that. That seems a little high to me. I would guess somewhere between 3 and 5, personally. Maybe a little bit higher. Simmons riding the bench confirmed now. Yeah, tweeted a picture of Wally Pipp earlier. I might have to recalibrate my thoughts on that, because I know what people think Austin Simmons is, and he looks like that's what he is, right? But he's not at his ceiling yet. And maybe I'm naive. I don't care about what Austin Simmons is getting paid. Couldn't care less. I don't care about 2026 or 2027. If you have an opportunity to get wins today, in my opinion, you should do what you need to do to get wins today. You don't pay Lane Kiffin $10 million a year. You don't, for this year, you don't pay Lane Kiffin $10 million in 2025. You don't pay Pete Golding $2.5 million in 2025, and Charlie Weiss 1 point whatever million in 2025, and so on and so forth, to win in 2026. You pay what you pay to win now. And yes, they're heavily invested in Austin Simmons. And if you keep him on the bench, it very well could mean that he transfers. And if that's what happens, that's what happens. But I don't think that you punt a season because of NIL money. I don't think that you intentionally choose the lesser option at the most important position on the field because of what could happen next year. I don't buy that. Ole Miss has an opportunity now, depending on what happens Saturday, to make a push for a playoff berth. They have that potential. They have that opportunity. I don't think that you go with a lesser option because it protects you in 2026. That's not what you, the fans, are paying for. That's not what the institution is paying for. They're paying for wins to maximize the roster that they have on an annual basis. And sometimes you do have to rebuild a little bit. Sometimes your roster, you lose a lot of guys on your roster and you take a step back. That is a real thing that does happen. But now that you have found yourself in a situation where you possibly, Lane Kiffin may see it differently. You possibly have a better option at quarterback. I don't care about the financial investment. You play the better option. Trinidad was excellent again today. What I love about his game is that it's really not flashy. He doesn't do anything quote unquote spectacular, but he does everything so far anyway. He'll make a mistake at some point, but he plays a smart game. Yet again, didn't turn the football over. I don't remember any truly bad decisions on his part. There was a couple of balls that could have been picked, maybe a little bit underthrown, I suppose, but the decisions weren't bad. Again, he's smart with the football. He protects the football, hits his checkdowns very clearly, is looking off safeties, going through progressions. His team appears to really, really like him. Obviously, the legs are excellent. He's a complete quarterback. And threw a couple of, just beautiful deep balls today. I still think arm strength is not his strength. But the timing and the accuracy on vertical passing was exceptional today. He's not perfect. LSU's defense is going to slow this offense down some. It is. But he uses the entire field, uses the middle of the field, uses the outside. You can clearly see him going through progressions and looking guys off, and he's a very mature football player. And until he stops being that, I don't know how you can put him back on the bench for somebody that in the first two games against Georgia State and Kentucky was mistake prone. I don't think that you can do that. And maybe they think otherwise. Maybe Lane Kiffin's that much of a believer in Austin Simmons, but especially now that he's injured and nursing himself back to health, Ole Miss's best chance to beat LSU is, to me, protecting the football, playing smart, taking what a defense gives him. You don't have to take risks next Saturday to win. This is an LSU offense that does not score in bunches, or at least hasn't against the FBS teams that they've played this year. You're on your home field. I think that what Trinidad is doing is just distributing the football, getting it to his weapons, playing within the offense, using the whole field. He's been awesome. And I think that you can't bench that right now. I really don't think that you can. So Ole Miss needs to clean up its run defense before it comes back to bite them. Through 4 games, they're giving up nearly 200 yards per game. Yeah, at the bottom of the SEC. O-line has looked much better the last few weeks. Still, could be better in the run game still. Pass protection was good today. Pass protection was good last week as well. They're a better pass blocking offensive line than run blocking offensive line for sure. Was Lane challenging Simmons with his comment that he was available? No, I think he's playing games with it. I don't think that was a challenge to Austin at all. We all saw what happened last week. He's hurt. Where will Ole Miss be ranked tomorrow? Let's see what's happening here in the AP. All right. And I guess I got to pull up the scoreboard as well so I can compare everything. All right. So South Carolina has the football, although they're not ranked at Missouri, so that game's inconsequential. Florida down 6 to Miami. If Miami loses to Florida, Ole Miss will jump Miami. Illinois is getting absolutely walloped by Indiana, so Ole Miss should jump Illinois. Maybe they could get jumped by Indiana, but I don't think so. Oregon was dominant. Oklahoma was good. They won't move. Tennessee's behind Ole Miss. Utah's behind Ole Miss. They lost. Michigan. So, all right, Ole Miss can really only move up a couple of spots. They will jump Illinois for sure. And they could, depending on how this game ends, jump Miami. So, at best, they'll get to 11, but likely going to be ranked number 12 tomorrow. Hate they missed out on game day. Yeah, I understand why they're going where they're going, though. It is the best ranked matchup of the weekend. Quarterback situation gives you Shea Patterson, Jordan Ta'amu vibes. I think Austin Simmons can be much better than what Shea Patterson became. Special teams is very good, going to win games. Yeah, what was the first punt? Let me see if I can find that. My goodness. Does Ole Miss list? Here we go. Punts. Do they list punts? Yeah, only once. Oscar Burden. It was a 54-yarder angled to the sideline. It was a beautiful punt. It actually got returned. He outkicked his coverage a little bit, but, I mean, only punted once, and it was stunning. But, yeah, that 54-yarder from Carniero would have been good from 64, and it was right down the middle as well. My goodness, what a weapon he is. Just looks so comfortable. Good thing LSU can't run the ball. You say that. Think about what transfer portal could possibly look like next year with at least 3, possibly 4 SEC coaches on the hot seat. Could be another haul for Ole Miss. And only one window to do it now, though. The broadcast was not enjoyable. Really wish there was a stream with David Kellum calling it. I think there's an app that can help you with that. But luckily, I like Roddy a lot. He's come on the radio show, and he was awesome. But luckily, little guy was he was just wanting to play everything, man. We had a good time watching the game, and I mean, I got him a new T-Rex this morning, and so we were all that. So I watched every snap, but didn't have the volume up, didn't hear it. So thanks, Ben. Really appreciate you, man. Really appreciate that. Samsara Gaming with the super chat. Really appreciate you, man. Thank you. Completely unnecessary, but appreciated nonetheless. Trinidad should hands down be the starter, you say, until he shows that he shouldn't be. Healthy Austin Simmons or not, he may be one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. Jeremy is your real name. Appreciate you, Jeremy. Really thankful for you, man. If you are a Twitch streamer, if that's what the gaming handle is, and I guess not Twitch, you're here on YouTube, send me a DM. I actually got a little like gamer side in me. Even though I'm 33, I'm still like into video games and stuff. So send me a DM, man. As badly as Simmons was limping last weekend, don't think this is really an issue. Trinidad will start. I think Lane's going to play games this week with the injury report, as much as he can anyway. I think Austin Simmons will be listed as available in this game. But I don't think it's a conversation until after the bye week with Washington State. That's when it becomes a conversation to me. Shout out to my hometown, Trinidad, Colorado. Born and raised there. That's awesome. Definitely awesome rooting for this kid. This team is making me start believing it has a very high ceiling. If they return to Simmons and he makes a rookie mistake, I'm afraid things will get weird. It will. I mean, people would have been willing to ride through a bunch of mistakes had he not gotten hurt, because you didn't know what you had in Trinidad after. But go to Athens and throw a couple of first quarter interceptions and find yourself down 17-0 after the first quarter and tell me that it doesn't get weird on that sideline fast. Linebackers are terrible against the run, always out of position to stop backs. TJ's the weakest of all. Not sure if it is what they're just blowing assignments, but they better get that fixed this week. Get one of LSU, Georgia, and Oklahoma and handle the business everywhere else, and they're in. The path is very real. Very, very, very real. Oklahoma's defensive line scares you, though. They should. They are awesome. Auburn's offensive front was supposed to be a strength, and they got whooped basically all day in Norman. That is going to be a pretty brutal game. Difficult. They're good. They're really good up front. Also, Alexander's an absolute beast. What a great evaluation he was, and a great pickup. Going to be hard to score against Oklahoma. Yes, it will. Season has gotten real simple. Take one of the LSU, Oklahoma, and Georgia, and if you're in the Capital One Bowl at 9-3, it can't be because you lost to South Carolina. So, and what's interesting about those games, Missouri, by the way, gets the ball back with 5 minutes to go. Florida's gotten the ball back, and they're driving. Hey, I picked the Gators. Hey, Dad was distraught that I was able to pick Florida, but I did, and so God, I'm going to look so smart if this continues. But yes, where South Carolina and Florida land on the schedule for Ole Miss are in good places. Here, because if South Carolina loses tonight, for example, I mean the losses could stack up. Same thing with Florida, right? So South Carolina being after back-to-back road trips is difficult for sure. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But South Carolina will have played at LSU, Oklahoma, and Alabama before that road trip to Oxford. They very well could have. I mean, they've already got one loss. They're working on two. They could have 4 or 5 losses by the time they get to Oxford. In Florida, you have a pseudo bye week with the Citadel before the Florida game. And Florida very well could pull off this win tonight, but they've got 2 losses already. They've got Texas at A&M, Mississippi State's no slouch anymore, Georgia, and at Kentucky. I mean, they could have 4, maybe 5 losses by the time they get to Oxford as well. So where those 2 games sit on the schedule is really helpful, I think. Oklahoma's spot on the schedule is the worst after Athens. That is the worst spot. But, yeah. Cajun boiled peanut should be more of a thing at football games. Just saying. Hey, I like your style. Also, we love to laugh at Hugh Freeze, but he deserves to go bat, insane about the officials today. They didn't get many breaks, that's for sure. To be fair to the Auburn offensive line today, Jackson Arnold was holding the ball like Shedeur Sanders. It's almost as if he has some shortcomings as a quarterback. But anyway. Hey, Tulane got that last touchdown. The roughing the passer call was questionable. Yeah, he was just a touch high. The timing was fine, but South Carolina can't stop a run to save their life. Don't see how it gets much better for them. Looks like Missouri's driving as well. So, no, I agree with you. I don't see how it gets much better for them. Key to the game was stopping Tulane 3 straight times on 4th down. To be honest with you, I disagree only because that Ole Miss was already in complete control of the game at that point anyway. They were never losing by the time it got to the point to have those 4th down stops. That just kept the score a little bit closer. Or, excuse me, that kept the score a little bit further apart than maybe it would have been otherwise. Ole Miss was dominant today. The key was how they started the game. I mean, they were locked in and prepared to play despite the spot on the schedule. And that, like I said, is an indicator of a well-coached team with some good locker room culture. To not give in to the rat poison, as Nick Saban says. I mean, and it looks like they're having fun too. I mean, Lane Kiffin doing the bounce pass. I know people hate the basketball goal, but man, they played really sharp today, and they look like they enjoy playing football together. And that is why you win close games, and that's why you dominate really good opponents like they did today in Tulane. So really good stuff. We'll be back live tomorrow to just kind of do a weekend recap and all that. So tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. I'll see you guys then. Enjoy the rest of your football tonight. I'll see you tomorrow.